All right, party people. This your man Griff. As the title of the video says, when is the change coming? You know, I thought about that last statement that I made on the video yesterday about the fact that the people who are telling us what we should be getting paid, what we better not take for pay, they don't have any influence in this industry whatsoever. None. For as toward the players in it, the people who are pushing out the money, they have no say so. They have no influence over them. The only people they have influence over is you, because they ain't got no influence over me. But they want to have influence over us notaries, telling us what it should or shouldn't be. But in all essence, they have no say so whatsoever. They don't have any influence at all. So they're gathering us together. They're riling us up. Okay, so the question is this: when is the change coming? Because if you think about setting up an organization to go after already established organizations, to get them to sit down with us and talk. Because see, here's the thing. Those people out there that's talking all this smack, they have no influence with these people as we already have established. Therefore, those people, they don't want to talk to them and they can't talk to them. That's why they're trying to get us involved. That's why they're trying to make us make a decision concerning our business. It's like, well, this is my business. Well, I'm telling you what you should do with your business. And your business, you should be fighting this and you should be going after that. And it's like, you do yours, let me do mine. So the decisions you make is going to affect your business. The question is simply this: how long are you willing to wait for this change to happen? Because during the time that you're waiting for the change to happen, what revenue you got coming in? What revenue do you actually have coming in? Because you don't want to take the 75. You don't want to take the 95. Okay? You don't want to take that. You don't want to do, as a person on TikTok said, crying about a $45 order that was only 95 pages. No proof that there was even any kind of 20 notarizations to be done in there. No proof at all. Just their word. Driving 12 and a half miles. And you only had to print one copy. Just print one copy, go get them to sign it, boom, and you're done. And you sitting up here whining and crying across the internet about it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You ain't gotta get a consensus from everybody else. You don't want to do it, don't do it. You ain't gotta ask anybody about their opinion. Well, what would you do? I'm gonna do what it takes to make money. I mean, yeah, but would you take it? It doesn't matter whether I would take it. It's all about whether you would. And y'all gotta stop that. If you don't want to take the order, don't take it. Stop spending all your time asking other people what would they do. You either do it or you don't. You married the person who you married. You ain't ask nobody. Well, would you marry her? Yo, man, yo, dog. You see my old girl right here? Yeah, man. Would you marry her? You ain't doing that. When you young ladies get your six-figured man, y'all ain't asking, hey, girl, would you marry him? No, you ain't inquiring with Quantisha or Megan or Mary Elizabeth or Anastasia, whoever. You just going out there and marrying that sucker. You like, I got him, and you ain't, and nobody else is gonna get. You ain't doing that. And then you gonna call. Well, would you take it because it's this far and it's this far and it's and would I and should I? Because I was wondering. Did you reply? Well, no, I was just wanting to hear what you got to say first before I reply. Don't call me no more with that crap. Don't call me asking, go, would I take this, that, and the other? Look, if you don't want the order, don't do it. When you see the opportunity, if it's immediate that you are questioning whether you should do it, then don't do it. Don't. Just say bump it. Don't do it. The bottom line is simply this. How long are you willing to wait for these suckers to get their act together to get you more money? Where's the proof at? Show me the plan that what you're doing, all this whining and crying you're doing, all this organization formation is going to get me money within the next 30 days. Because we got the holidays coming up. It's October when I'm doing this video. October 20, whatever. I don't know. October 20 something. 21st. October 21st. So here it is, October 21st, and you're sitting here tripping. Okay, yeah. October 21st, and you're sitting here tripping and like, I want this more money. Pay me. Okay, are they gonna pay you start before Thanksgiving? Is it gonna be before Christmas? Is it gonna be right after New Year's, before Valentine's Day? When is the money coming? When is it coming? How fast is this supposed to happen? Because you formalize such and such. How quick are you going to be having a conversation with these people? How quick is it going to take them? How long is it going to take them to get the word out to all of their entities that support said lender that, hey, we're paying 50, we're going to be paying 20% more? Is it on a gradual scale? All right, from starting in November through December, we're going to be paying an additional 10% more. And then in February, we're going to bump it up to this. And then by the end of, the third fiscal quarter, we'll be at boom. What is the goal? Stop talking about what everybody else is making. Tell me how you're going to get me to make this magical dollar amount that you think I'm supposed to be making. That's what I want to know. If you can't formalize that out of your mouth, then in my opinion, we need to stop having this conversation. Because until you can put it on paper and say, hey, here's what my requirements are. This is my negotiating points. And then show us who is going to. And then see the results of them coming back in writing, quote unquote, a contract saying, we are going to give y'all this. We are willing to give you this. Something. When is it going to happen? Everybody said, well, stop being, there's no dead horse, because it's not dead. This is very well alive. So what are we going to do? We going to barbecue or mildew? Which one is it? When is this supposed to happen? What is the timeline for the increase in notary fees? When is the time? What is the timeline? 6 months because these things take time, and it can take 2, 3, or 4 years. It could take a year. Are you willing to wait a year of making no money in this business because you're holding out for the higher pay? So what are you going to do to take care of yourself? You're doing this full time. What are you going to do in the interim? And especially if there's no apostille going down in your area, or not a whole lot of estate planning or general notary, or basically it might be, but now you got a 45% increase in available notaries because they stopped doing loan closings. So they got to make money somehow. So now you have an increase in competition for the stuff that you was already doing. And now, instead of it being 25 notaries out there, it's 75. It's 75 notaries competing for the same thing in your county that you've been doing. And then if they're willing to travel, well, and you're not, then what? So these are things that I know you haven't thought of. That's why you got your Uncle Griff here to help you bring these things to the forefront of your mind and start thinking about them and start asking the questions. Stop being somebody's listening post and start asking questions based off of what people are saying out of their mouth. What is the plan? How long is this going to take? What is the timeline for getting us in front of the people? And asking, what are you really going to ask them? What is the demand that we're making out there? And are there concessions that we have to give? And will there be any kind of counter request from that entity? Because remember, we have to negotiate with each individual title company, signing company, lender, across the board. Because even though the lender may increase the fee to us, there's no guarantee that that fee will get pushed down. So you have to have a guarantee that the lender will pay more money to the title, who will pay more money to the signing, and the signing has to pay it to us. See, you ain't think about that. That's why you got your Uncle Griff here. Let me go. Get in here and do this Ron real quick. Talk to y'all later. Peace.